I started that whole that fricassee, whatever.
That's right.
So now.
All right. Well, we wait till you hear because it's typical left-wing Democratic stuff.
Sure.
Typical.
He served.
And you'll know what I mean by typical when you hear it. I don't understand how anybody who holds himself in any esteem can vote for these people. What?
Did he get a chin shortening?
No, but he could use one. I want to talk about Bob Woodward's book, and I don't want to jump on. I don't want to make
a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Is this Woodward and Bernstein?
Yes,
Woodward?
that
okay, the
Bob
same
Woodward.
Yeah,
the same guy.
Bob
You remember the political left went on and on about George Bush lied, soldiers died, that sort of thing.
Right.
Over the Iran-Iraq war, and whether you were in favor or opposed to it. I personally, I wouldn't have done it. I don't think those people are worth the American blood. But the point was the decision was made.
Right.
And once the decision was made, I got behind the policy. I feel that was my duty, my responsibility as an American. Now, Bob Woodward has in his book that President Obama, in his very first national security meeting over Afghanistan, ordered his people to give him an exit strategy. He didn't talk to them about how do we win this? What do you need? No. He said, give me an exit strategy. Now, President Obama ran on this being the right war, the good war, the war that had to be fought, the war we had to win. He does not believe in the mission if that's the case. Now, Bob Woodward could be lying. I've never heard anybody accuse Bob Woodward of lying when he wrote about the Bush administration.
Yeah, no,
People let him in because they feel that Bob Woodward treats them fairly and quotes accurately. That's the only reason why these administrations let Bob Woodward in.
Yeah.
Because they feel he can be treated fairly. Now, who knows? Maybe someone in the Obama administration is going to say, oh, well, Bob Woodward was out to do a hatchet job on Obama. Maybe he was, but let's assume for the moment that he didn't. If that is the case, then explain to me why President Obama would send 30,000 American additional soldiers, place them in harm's way on a mission he doesn't believe in and he doesn't support.
Well, I think the evidence...
Because he was afraid, because his decisions are political.
I think the evidence on that, also, the generals requested 80. Let's not forget...
I remember them requesting 40, not 80.
No, their initial request, I'm pretty sure, and
well, then they must have pared it down, because I remember the official request being from General Petraeus and others 40,000, and he sent 30.
I could be wrong about this, but here's the point: Obama sent less than what was requested.
Yeah, Bush never did that. Bush gave whatever they wanted.
Basically said, "Do your job with what I'm giving you," and in that way, it's like. I think that was another move by Obama to outthink the people who know what they're doing.
That's so he can go to his cocktail parties and say, yes, they wanted 40,000. I only gave them 30 because I don't like the war either. My point is in that case, can we say Obama lied and soldiers died? If they could say that about George Bush, why can't that be said about Obama? You've got to say this about Bush, whether you agree with his policy or not. He believed in it.
Right.
And he didn't care whether it was popular or unpopular. He felt he was doing what was necessary. I'll give Bush that. I'm not a big Bush fan.
No.
But I'll give him that. I think Bush honestly believed in what he was doing. Obama clearly, if Bob Woodward is quoting accurately, Obama clearly does not believe in this and has sent an additional 30,000 Americans into harm's way just for political reasons. And he wants them out because he can't lose the whole Democrat Party. And so all his decisions he's making here are political. And I cannot begin to tell the president, if this is true, and I'm going to withhold my judgment, if this is true, I can't begin to tell you how disappointing this would be for many Americans that even a political left president who was anti-war would do such a thing.
I must imagine, I have to imagine how hard it is for Barack Obama, doing that delicate balancing act between losing the actual war and losing the Democratic Party.
Now, if this is not true, if Bob Woodward misquoted, if Bob Woodward is doing a hatchet job on the president, then Bob Woodward's got things to answer for. He better be damn sure about what he's saying.
Right. And
because this is really damning.
But why would Woodward do this? Why would a liberal, Bob Woodward's political leanings are not secret?
I've always kind of felt that Bob Woodward, in spite of that, I felt the same way actually about Walter Cronkite.
Right.
We all knew which way Walter Cronkite leaned, but I never felt that Walter Cronkite let that get in the way of just reporting the facts.
Just like Russert.
Here's how they are.
Tim Russert.
Tim Russert, political left, but I trusted Tim Russert. I trusted Cronkite. I trust Woodward. I don't trust them all. And even though I may think that something they write may have a slight bias or bent to it, they all do. I can deal with that. I think Woodward's trying to be honest. And I have no reason to doubt Bob Woodward. I have reason to doubt President Obama. In defense of President Obama, I would like to point out that President Obama was very harsh in his condemnation, I thought, of Ahmadinejad's speech before the United Nations. He, instead of apologizing, which he seemed to love to do, for America, instead, for once, he acted presidential. And he stood up to Ahmadinejad and called him on the carpet. For Ahmadinejad called it an inside job, that we did this to ourselves. In spite of the fact that Al-Qaeda said, no, we did it. Yes, we did.
That was us.
Ahmadinejad doesn't care. And Obama was very forceful, I thought, in his condemnation of Ahmadinejad's comments. And for that, President Obama, you were acting presidential, and I thank you. I hope to God the stuff in Bob Woodward's book is untrue. Because if it is not, we got serious problems. Last thing I want to cover is John Kerry.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Here he goes. John Kerry was asked about the Tea Party, that sort of thing. And here's what Kerry feels why the Democrats are going to lose come November. He says, well, the electorate doesn't pay attention. They don't know what's going on. They're just influenced by slogans instead of knowing the facts. Here's a Democrat, again, calling the American people stupid. You're a bunch of freaking rubes is what he wants to say. Why the hell are you people allowed to vote? Just shut up and do what I tell you.
I laugh because this is the guy who lost the election when he was caught windsurfing.
I know.
And it's like, what do you mean slogans? We saw you acting like an elitist liberal putz.
I voted for John Kerry before I voted against John Kerry.
That's right.
That's right.
You have more waffles than a house of pancakes, sir.
How many times, America? How many times do you have to be treated like a complete idiot, a complete rube by this political party, by the leaders of this political party, and yet you keep voting these people in?
What about Cass Sunstein?
Be a Democrat. That's okay. Be a Democrat. Vote for a Democrat. But at least find a Democrat that doesn't think we're all a bunch of jackasses and we don't know what we're doing and we should just shut up and take it.
What about Cass Sunstein?
What about him?
Did you hear what he said?
No.
Basically that the American electorate is Homer Simpson and they have to be led to the right answer.
Oh, God.
Who said that?
Cass Sunstein. These people are elitist. Yeah, these people are elitist. They don't think you know what you're doing. Frankly, if you're not careful, these are not people, I think, who believe in the social contract.
No, they absolutely don't.
I don't think so.
It is not above them to rig an election.
There was an advisor, a former advisor, John Kerry, who was asked about this. And she blamed it on the Republicans. Oh, well, he's just frustrated. She said, no. He wasn't talking about the Republicans. He was talking about us.
Yeah, the American
people. He said the American people, the electorate. She goes, oh, well, he's just frustrated, and he's frustrated with the voters. He said, he's just frustrated because of Republican obstruction. They said, what are you talking about? You control the White House. You control the Senate. You control the House of Representatives. Why in the hell are you bothering with the Republicans?
Going back to the Huffington Post, and you'll love this, and I don't mean to defer to this often, but it is their soul right there in full view.
Oh, hell yes.
And when one person brought that up on Huffington Post, hey, the Democrats had a filibuster-proof majority in the House and Senate. And one guy, I swear to God, his name is ACLU Card Carrier. He chimes in with the following comment, but they still control the Supreme Court. What?
All right, I know. Well, anyway, there you have it. That's that particular political party. That's how they actually think about you. That's how they feel about you, and they can claim, oh no, we're for the little guy. No, they're not. John Edwards sure as hell wasn't for the little guy.
Well, he was for his little guy.
He was helping out his little guy. Yeah. All right, last thing I want to cover in the political. This business about states. The states with the highest taxes. They kept warning them. Governor. The governor of New York? What's his name?
Patterson.
Governor Patterson, who actually who made fun of the fact that a citizen of his state felt compelled to leave because he was going to put a tax on him just because of the amount of money he earned. We're talking about Rush Limbaugh. Yes. And the governor of New York singled out one of the citizens by name. Mm-hmm. And basically said, well, if I knew that was going to happen, I said I would have raised his taxes on a lot too. So the governor of New York deliberately went after a private citizen. Is that what you're saying, Governor of New York? Well, here's what you got. Here's what you earned with this. The states with the highest taxes are going to now lose representation in the Congress. People are voting with their feet. They're leaving the states, including New York, California, New Jersey, Michigan, the ones with the highest. And these are blue states.
Oh,
the ones with the highest taxes. Guess where they're going? They're going to the red states, South Carolina, Georgia. They'll be going to places like Wyoming. They're going to the red states. Arizona, Florida is big because they're going
their damn voting record where they came from.
That's right.
Too.
They're going to where people just don't take their money. And just because you're government doesn't mean you aren't stealing. We'll be right back with Colbertradio.com.